listen up and listen good. Because this is week 99 of the Wrestling Rundown.
Sounds about right.
And since we're 99 weeks in, I really shouldn't have to explain myself. That this is not the indie news, this is the midweek wrap-up.
You might want to explain yourself.
This is a midweek wrap-up.
It is.
Where we talk about main event, NXT, Lucha Underground, like we do 99.9% of the time we do this video. Except during the Lucha Underground off-season.
Yeah, because then we only talk about main event and NXT.
Exactly.
There might not even be an off-season this time for Lucha Underground.
I'm pretty sure that will be. Right. But, with that being said, without further ado, we're going to start off talking about the main event.
But not the main event of main event. We're going to talk about the first match of main event. This is the return of one Titus O'Neil. But he'd be going against Damien Sandow. Yeah, I mean, it was... We knew. We didn't want to know, but we knew. Damien Sandow was extremely vicious during this match.
He brought the fight.
He had a great aggression.
I refuse to open my eyes when we talk about this match.
That's okay. That's okay, I understand.
I don't understand why my eyes have to be closed, but it helps me from thinking about Titus O'Neil.
It makes it so it's less real.
Damien
Sandow had a fantastic aggressive side during this match. Just really took it to Titus O'Neil. And at one point, Titus did his corner avalanche and then got Sandow up on his shoulder. Mm-hmm. Sandow was able to get off of his shoulder, hit a big back elbow, hit the ropes, and came back and got hit with a clash of the Titus. And Titus O'Neil picked up the win.
Just to reiterate,
then we had our second match, which was...
Go away, Titus.
Then we had our
Nobody
second match,
loves you.
which was Victor of the Ascension
Yay.
taking on Apollo Crews.
We like those guys.
This match was exactly like the match before.
Yeah. Except for Victor didn't get quite as much offense as Sandow did.
No.
But it basically ended up being the same thing where Apollo Crews was getting beat up and then made like a 12-move comeback streak and won the match, just like Titus O'Neil did.
Indeed. Hitting the cruise missile for the win. Then we had a very mismatched match. We had Baron Corbin taking on Sin Cara. This was another
things.
This was another good heel showing for Baron Corbin. He's definitely got the mannerisms down. He's good at gaining heat.
He's definitely taken to using that inverted power bomb into the ring post.
Yeah, no, and Sin Cara was on a roll, actually knocking Baron Corbin out of the ring, hitting a suicide dive. But then he went for some sort of flippy move, and Baron Corbin caught him and tossed him into the post. That allowed him to throw him back into the ring and hit the End of Days for the win.
The day was ended.
Yes.
For Sin Cara.
And then in the main event, we had Dolph Ziggler taking on Stardust.
The Ziggy Stardust.
This was a fantastic match.
Well,
I love their chemistry.
They have a really good chemistry.
Yeah. It's just, we've seen these guys go against each other in so many different types of matches.
A lot of facets.
And it adds to both of their natural abilities in the ring. Stardust really playing up his crazy intergalactic mindset and the people throwing him off by chanting Cody. And Dolph Ziggler obviously selling his ass off because that's what he does.
And the whole focal point ended up being Stardust working over Ziggler's shoulder.
Yeah,
because Ziggler took a post, a shoulder to the post.
Tumbled out to the outside.
Yeah, early on in the match. And that was kind of let's focus on this.
Yeah, and it allowed for Stardust to have the advantage for most of it. And he was in the corner at one point. Ziggler went for his big avalanche in the corner. Ended up hitting his head on the top turnbuckle. But when Stardust came back to do his own, Ziggler was able to move out of the way, catch Stardust with a super kick, and Dolph Ziggler picked up the win in the main event.
Yeah, the main event. Main eventception.
So, a solid episode of main event. We move right into another solid episode of NXT.
I can't call it a solid episode of main event.
It had Damian Sandow on it.
It did. That was decent.
And Apollo Crews won.
Yeah.
And Baron Corbin had a good showing. And Dolph Ziggler and Stardust had a good match. It was a solid episode.
It was semi-solid. It was like mashed potatoes.
We open up NXT with the new NXT champion, Samoa Joe, coming down to the ring, letting everyone know that the entire locker room is being put on, the world is being put on notice.
Yeah, so Samoa Joe is apparently, I'm guessing this is him trying to enter the Global Cruiserweight Invitational.
Maybe. I'm okay with it.
Except for the fact that I heard from a very trustworthy source that the weight cap on the Cruiserweight Invitational is 205 pounds.
Oh, yeah, that definitely does not include Samoa Joe. I think he's got another 70 pounds on that.
Yeah, I'm going to say closer to 85.
All right, fair enough. But he says he's putting the world on notice, and then that if anybody has a problem with him, they can come out and say it to his face.
And somebody had a problem with him.
Yeah. Eric Young making his debut on NXT.
That's who that was.
Yes.
I thought it was like a stepbrother to the Briscoes.
Well, it could be confused as that, but no, it was Eric Young making his NXT debut, telling Samoa Joe that he collects championship belts, and
well, you can get that one on WWEshop.com for $299.
He doesn't want a replica. He wants that one.
Oh.
He wants the one that Samoa Joe is holding.
Yeah. Okay. The thing with being a championship belt collector is eventually you have to give it back. Or give it to somebody else.
Not if you're good enough.
Yeah, but I didn't see him walking around with like a bunch of championship belts.
Well, he can't carry them all over the place.
Yeah, you can at least have one or two.
Maybe. But he says he collects championships and things are about to change for Joe and him. And Joe leaves the ring saying, EY, you don't deserve to be in the same ring as me, but the next time you are, I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
And they would actually be our main event of NXT.
He debuted and had his debut match on this episode of NXT.
Yes. Our first match of the night, though, was Tessa Blanchard trying her best to take down Nia Jax. Nia Jax defeating Tessa Blanchard effortlessly.
Yeah, about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Tessa bounced off of Nia a few times. Nia tossing her around and then hitting that big old leg drop for the win. Then we had, I do believe this was match of the night. Maybe close to being match of the midweek. We had Austin Aries, the greatest man who ever lived, taking on the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Both of these guys very over with the crowd. Fantastic chemistry between these two. Granted, it's hard to have a bad match with Austin Aries.
Yeah, I want to see more of these guys go against each other.
Yeah, I think that this would be a great starter feud for Austin Aries. Just kind of kickstarting the direction
over
he's
would
going.
be if these guys teamed together.
Oh God, the greatest 10 that ever lived. Yeah. From beginning to end, fantastic wrestling, fantastic working off of one another. The pops from the crowd really worked to both of these guys. Ty started to set up for his finishing maneuver, which, if it has a name, can you post down in the comments, because we don't know exactly what it is. Okay, never mind. Kevin Hawk is going to fact check right while we're doing this, but he'd take down his knee pads. He's getting ready to set up for it. Austin Aries stops him, gives him a roaring elbow in the corner, and then is able to. I think he knocked him down with a drop kick. Is that what? Or was it just the roaring? Yeah, hit the roaring elbow, then hit the big drop, and then Erber, and then hit a drop kick. Went up, hit the 450, and Austin Aries picked up the win.
Roaring Erber.
Then we had...
Looking through his ring names on here...
Please tell me one of them was Stan.
Gavin Spears, Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears. Stan.
Yeah. If you don't know who Stan is, you need to watch
Trained
more
by
wrestling.
Eric Young.
Hey! Never would have guessed that, honestly. We had a tag team match where the Revival took on the Hype Bros.
I should have.
What is it?
It wouldn't have been too hard to tell. It's called the Perfect 10.
Oh, okay. Didn't work.
The inverted overdrive.
Austin Aries won with the 450. The Revival took on the Hype Bros in tag team action. Zack
beat
Ryder.
the shit out of Zack Ryder for a minute.
Zack Ryder at the beginning, though, doing great, taking on both members of the Revival by himself.
Yeah.
But eventually, the hustle of Dawson was able to really take him off of his game, and Dash was able to pull him off the second rope. And it was just tear down Zack Ryder for the entirety of this match, working him over, cutting the ring off. Eventually, Zack Ryder does get that hot tag to Mojo Rawley, which fucking fails.
Because he hits about 9,000 shoulder blocks. So that's the only move he fucking remembers how to do. And then Dawson makes a blind tag on Dash, and while Mojo Rawley's being stupid, they hit the Shatter Machine. And they pin Mojo Rawley.
Yeah, Dawson makes a pin while Dash goes and knocks Zack Ryder off the apron. The Revival picking up the win. Then we find out. I'm gonna let you talk about this because this is something that you are.
The equivalent to you. Finding
this
out
is
that
my Asuka Eva Marie. That's exact. This is the male version, and this is what he wants to see. I definitely want to see it too.
We go to a backstage promo by Alex Riley. Gross. Mr. Hole Punch Chest Man. And he lets everybody know that next week he's going to face Shinsuke Nakamura. He says he has no idea what strong style is. He has no idea what it means.
He's gonna find out.
He calls. He says that Nakamura has no athletic prowess whatsoever, has no athletic coordination, and that he's going to give Nakamura a beating next week.
Yeah, his main driving point was that you're gonna have this this strong style guy punch me in the face, and then a maniac is gonna punch him in the face, and you can do the math.
Raging lunatic.
Yeah.
Because it's time to rage.
It's also time to get a Kinshasa to your face.
What a fucking 1997 catchphrase.
Rage, Riley, rage.
It's time to rage.
Then we had
somebody gonna throw a party. That's what I know. When you say it's rage time, that means it's time to throw a fucking party. It's time to rage. It's time to go get drunk.
Well, yeah.
Go to a rave.
Nakamura's gonna rage all over Riley's face with his knees and his fists and his elbows and. Okay. We had the Full Sail debut of No Way Jose as he took on Noah Kakoa.
I'm still not 100% sold on the guy.
I still love No Way Jose.
He's got good energy.
I like the fact that he doesn't stop. I like that he's constantly going and he constantly had control. Like even like Noah, I think got one or two offensive maneuvers, but then No Way Jose was able to switch it right back and kept control of Noah the whole time.
Yeah, I like his energy. But I do feel like the gimmick is a novelty that's going to start dying down really quick unless it's going to be an Elias Sampson situation where if he doesn't bring something special out within the next 2 or 3 matches, the novelty's going to die down really fast.
Here's what I think it's going to be is he's going to be that traditional fun-loving character. You get, he's dancing all the time, he's always in a good mood. Even when things start to not go his way in the match, he's able to turn it back and he's able to keep up that energy. Eventually, someone is going to open up the vicious side of No Way Jose, and then he's going to be, because he's got wrestling skill for sure. He's got that down, and I think someone is going to come along and kind of break through that fun-loving personality and open up the vicious wrestling style of No Way Jose, but he's still going to be able to be, once he wins, he goes right back into that fun-loving character, and I think that's going to get him a lot of good sympathy points.
I want to see now that I've made the connection between the two,
All right.
I want to see them as a team in this year's Dusty Classic. I want to see the complete bipolar opposites of No Way Jose and Elias Samson teaming together.
We'll have to wait and see what happens to the Dusty Classic. So we had Kathy Kelly, our new backstage interviewer, talking to Austin Aries.
Yeah, who has a banana.
Austin Aries saying
It's
that,
for potassium.
This was such a weird interview. Like, he talks about how he came in with all this fanfare and now he's kind of flying under the radar, but no, that's okay.
It's completely understandable because I mean, when we found out that Austin Aries got signed and shows up on TV, it is kind of a big deal. But then he almost immediately gets overshadowed by the fact that Nakamura is debuting on the same show as him,
right?
And a little bit of a better place on the card.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like Bobby Roode was at TakeOver.
Yeah.
And then we also have Eric Young showing up on this episode of NXT TV.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey.
And when we had Nakamura show up, we still weren't sure whether or not the Bullet Club was going to show up on NXT too.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more names floating around.
And then there was even the whole Samoa Joe wins the championship at a house show thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like the Austin Aries momentum train just kind of like cloaked invisibility mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he says he's going to maybe make himself noticed more, make him self back on the radar for everyone. Because, I mean, if you're not going for the belt, why are you really there?
Yeah. And he's going to go eat his banana to replenish his potassium levels.
You need to do that after you work out.
Sure.
You need potassium. You need potassium and you need electrolytes.
Yeah, he had a perfect 10 workout.
He had, no, he had the perfect 20.
He
was the perfect 20.
Well, yeah, but he had a perfect 10 workout.
Yeah. He ate the banana and drank some Brondo.
Sure.
It's got what plants crave.
Yeah. Then in our main event, we had Samoa Joe versus Eric Young. Obviously, these guys have chemistry. We know they face each other in TNA. I wouldn't be surprised if they both wrestled at indie shows together and were in maybe a couple matches there. But just instantly, these guys know how to work, and they put on one hell of a match. A great debut showing for Eric Young in NXT, and Samoa Joe obviously wanting to really hit home the fact that he is the champion and he deserves to stay champion. Eric Young, really throwing everything he had at Samoa Joe. Obviously, it wasn't quite enough because Samoa Joe is trying to maintain that top spot. Eric Young had Samoa Joe in the corner and went for an avalanche in the corner, got caught with the ST Joe, and then hit with the Muscle Buster, and then tapped out to the Coquina Clutch.
Between the ST Joe and the Muscle Buster, he got slapped about 48 times.
Yeah, Joe slapped the shit out of him.
Fucking went E-Honda on his ass.
And then we also saw, at the end, you pointed it out, that Samoa Joe kept the Coquina Clutch on after Eric Young tapped out, and the referee actually had to issue another count to possibly reverse the decision in Eric Young's favor.
Yeah.
So
Samoa Joe is trying to establish dominance at this point.
Right, absolutely.
Not only is he the champion, but he basically wants to make everybody not even want to challenge him for the title at this point.
And I think he made a very good case in point with Eric Young. We'll have to see. We do know that next week Finn Balor is returning to NXT.
Yeah, weird promo package for Finn Balor's return.
Yeah.
It was like good visuals, but most of all the talking was mumbly.
Yeah,
And it was weird because they had him talking, but they also had like all the commentary from all the clips they were showing.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
At the same time.
Yeah, different levels of words.
All the sound effects and commentary and music were louder than the Finn vocal track.
That's all right. We're getting Finn Balor next week. That's all.
Yeah. He's got his rematch somewhere down the line.
Yeah, it's got to be happening soon. So let's move on to Lucha Underground.
Wow! What a show!
We open up with Dario Cueto and Katrina, kind of disputing who came out on top of the Lucha Underground Championship match between Mil Muertes and Matanza?
Literally or figuratively? Because literally, it's Matanza, because Mil pulled him into the move. But I think figuratively, I'm giving it to Mil Muertes.
Yeah, because he was the one that hit the move. Yeah. So that's why we're having this dispute between Katrina and Cueto. And, Cueto says, you know what, I absolutely think they need to have a rematch. Katrina initially wasn't sure if he was going to agree to it. But he's like, no, they do deserve it because, Mil Muertes may be scary, but my brother fears nothing. So I'll even give Mil the advantage, and we'll make it a grave consequences match. This is the last time we saw this. This was Mil Muertes versus Phoenix in one hell of a casket match. Then they make it really weird.
Yeah, they make it a graver consequences match. But graver's not even a fucking word.
It doesn't matter. It's Dario Cueto. He can make words up. He's El Jefe.
That's true, because he did make this match between Mil Muertes and Matanza.
Yeah.
Matanza.
So instead of
Matanza.
one casket, there's going to be 4.
Yeah.
Here's why, and it didn't hit me until we were about halfway through Lucha Underground. It's because they had the one casket in the Phoenix Mil Muertes Grave Consequences match. That one got fucked up, and then they had to try and put Mil Muertes in there.
It barely survived. This
is going to allow them to do casket spots, but still have one to dump the giant man that they're going to try and put. Because these are 2 really big dudes you're trying to fit into a casket.
Yeah.
So you're going to need one that isn't going to, you're not going to need to tie it down
on itself.
So yeah, no, that's it's a good reason. It's an interesting reason to have more than one casket, but we will see that next week on Lucha Underground.
I just really hope they announce it as the graver consequences match.
I hope so too.
And then I'll never let Melissa Santos live it down. I will tweet her every day.
You're a terrible person.
You had to say graver on TV.
This entire Lucha Underground, all these matches are for
medallions.
Aztec medallions. Our first one is the Mac taking on Marty the Moth.
A lot of M's going on in this match. It's a medallion match between Mac and Marty the Moth.
And Marty was trying to make Melissa smile. It didn't work this time. It worked last time, but she was not having it this time. Mac came out, House of Fire, immediately diving over the top rope onto Marty the Moth. Marty had a few moments where he looked like he might have the advantage, but Mac really ran through him in this match.
Yeah.
Hit him with a stunner that Marty actually stayed up on his feet, and so Mac's like, okay, picked him up, airplane spin into a stunner, and the Mac picks up an Aztec medallion.
It's the one with the furry elephant on it.
Sure. Then we have Katrina talking to King Cuerno in the back, saying, you have your chance for a medallion tonight, but we're not going to entrust that you have that belt because you screwed us last time. Mm-hmm. And Cuerno's like, I don't care, what you think. If I'm going to win the medallion, I'm going to win the Gift of the Gods, and if Mil is the champion, then I can guarantee you that my most prized possession will be Mil Muertes in my trophy room. Which means he's gonna cut Mil Muertes' head off and mount it on his freaking wall.
Or he's gonna just taxidermy the whole body.
Yes.
And that's admitting that you're going to murder someone.
Well, it's Lucha Underground. They're allowed to do things. We'll talk about what they're allowed to do.
Apparently
later in the show.
Surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, and we'll start it here because Dario gives Sexy Star the chance to win an Aztec medallion. She was actually in the Gift of the Gods match last year, but she will finally have a chance to rid herself of the anxiety, of the stress, the paranoia she has around Mariposa, because he puts her versus Mariposa in a no mas match. This is an I Quit match, and the winner getting an Aztec medallion. And he also says that if you do beat her, don't stop. because the only way you're going to rid yourself of this feeling is putting that feeling into her. So really fire.
She put something into her.
We'll talk about that.
This one's for the medallion with the naked Jason Statham on it.
Sure. King Cuerno's Aztec medallion match would be against the now extremely powerful Sinestro de la Muerta as he killed both Trace and Barrio Negro after
they turned them into piles of ash.
After ripped out their hearts after they lost in the Trios tournament.
That's where Rusev got the idea.
Oh, okay.
Watch his interview on YouTube where he says he's going to eat Kalisto's heart.
This match did not last long because Katrina took it into her own hands to make sure King Cuerno didn't walk out with a medallion. He brought it to Sinestro, had Sinestro on the outside, was going for the arrow from hell, and as he backed up into the ropes, Katrina clobbered him with the rock that she had in her hand. Sinestro gets back up on the ring, hits a springboard leg drop to the back of his head.
Yeah, psycho guillotine.
And Sinestro de la Muerta has an Aztec medallion. So now we know that Katrina is going to try and entrust Sinestro as Gift of the Gods champion to ensure that if Mil Muertes wins the Lucha Underground Championship, he's able to keep it this time. Because it didn't work out this season. We have Famous B working some magic for Masquerita Sagrada, getting him a chance for a medallion, having him face someone who's already won. So someone is going to defend their Aztec medallion against Masquerita Sagrada. And he's pumped.
Yeah.
What's
all right, he's already sort of amped up because he was like pumping some heavy iron.
Yeah. No, he was working it, and then B came in and was like, hey, I got you a match, we're gonna get you a medallion. He's like, hell yeah.
Yeah, so he already had the blood going, he already had that mindset, the focus to get better mindset. So, obviously that was just like icing on the cake for him.
Yeah. And then
icing on the cupcake.
And then we also find out that Chavo is pissed off that he's not getting a chance. And Cueto's like, I've given you so many chances and you keep failing, so why would I give you another one? And Chavo's like, all right, well, I'll make sure it happens this time.
Yeah, he's like, I'll make a chance.
Yeah. So we go into Masquerita Sagrada's medallion match, and he gets to face Cage.
At least he had Brenda in his corner.
Yeah. He immediately starts praying and looking at Famous B going, why? Why?
What did I do to you, Famous B?
and both Matt Stryker and Vampiro go, what? As Cage makes his way down to the ring. Gotta give it to Masquerita Sagrada, though. He tried. He was quick. He got a couple of kicks in, but you're going against the machine.
This is the reason why WWE never booked Dink versus Psycho Sid.
Yeah. He tried so hard. It didn't last long. Cage ended up...
He got so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter.
Cage hitting what I have dubbed the F-fuck as he set him up for an F5.
It's the F5000, basically.
And he threw Masquerita Sagrada. He just spun in the air and landed real hard.
He spun and rolled.
Yeah, Cage obviously picking up the win. He actually stays in the ring. B gets in, Brenda gets in, the referee's checking on Masquerita Sagrada, and Cage is like... Cage's like, I'm sorry, man. Like, it was for the medallion. They're talking. There's respect there. Cage is making sure that Masquerita's okay. But... while he's not looking...
Pump the tiny chest if he needs CPR.
Chavo gets in the ring and steals the medallion from the referee. And Famous B goes, bro, you got robbed. And Cage is like...
what? I won the match.
He's like, what do you mean I got robbed? He goes, no, you got robbed. And he's like... And then he sees Chavo running up the stairs. He goes, oh, hell no. So now we're going to have Cage chasing Chavo, trying to get his medallion back, while Famous B... pays for a lot of medical bills for Masquerita Sagrada.
I want to know the reasoning here.
Okay.
Of the absolute most terrible logic that Chavo Guerrero could use.
Well, no one ever said Chavo Guerrero was a smart guy.
Out of all the people who have medallions at this point, Tejano, Aerostar, Cage, and Sinestro, he picks Cage to steal the medallion from.
And the Mac. Mac's got one.
Mac too. Yeah. So you pick the absolute most physically imposing person that has one of these medallions. and that's saying something because Tejano and the Mac are both also large, tough individuals.
Oh, yeah.
But Cage.
Well.
Chavo. He's a fucking machine. And he's probably a fucking machine. Who knows?
He might. I don't know.
But I think you made a mistake. I'm gonna be real. I think you done fucked up.
Well, we'll have to see how well that plays out for Chavo
You
Guerrero.
shouldn't have taken the raccoon medallion from Cage.
Raccoon medallion. All right, now we have our main event, which is the No Mas match between Sexy Star and Mariposa. This one starts off a little slow. Mm-hmm. Sexy, very scrappy in her fighting in this. There was no... She didn't care about the way it looked just as long as it was effective.
Yeah.
She was doing everything she could to try and get Mariposa to give up. Mariposa's not having it. And then these ladies turn it up about 12 fucking notches.
Yeah, well, both of them really, really, really want the medallion with the naked Jason Statham on it.
Right. Yeah.
But let's be real here. They brutalized each other.
They fucking killed it.
And this is just like, alright, WWE's got the whole revolution for the women's wrestlers going on. And Lucha Underground's like, well, look what we can do.
Yeah. They let these ladies just go.
Yeah, so there was lots of chairs involved. They went up to the catwalk.
Well, wait a second. We need to talk about where one of those chairs went.
Steely Dan, if you will.
Sexy Star was on the offense, and she'd gotten some chairs thrown at her face.
Yeah.
Which makes one a little mad.
If not unconscious.
But, so she has Mariposa against the wall, and she puts a chair between her legs. Mm-hmm. And she grabs another chair, she winds it up, and she whacks that chair to Vagina Town. Because...
She gave it her best Tiger Woods swing.
It was... wow.
The sound that came out of Mariposa was inhuman.
It was... oh, man.
It's the sound of what would happen if, like...
I'm very intrigued into what this is.
If, like, Cage suplexed a boar.
Alright. So then, it gets...
Kind of sounds like what you'd imagine if you deflated Danny DeVito.
You should have led with that one. That was way better. Oh, man. Okay, so then they start to amp it up from this point. Because they start fighting... Mariposa ends up dragging Sexy Star up the stairs.
While ripping a hole in her mask.
Yeah.
So I think she was dragging her up by the eye hole of the mask.
Yeah.
And then when they got to the top of the stairs, she just ripped it open.
Yeah, she
was punching her in the head.
Yeah. And so from the stairs, they make their way over to the top of that little closet area that's behind the commentary table.
Yeah, the commentary closet.
Then they start climbing higher to the fucking catwalk where the spotlights are.
Yeah, that's where the, when you need to replace a bulb in the spotlight or need to adjust them for any reason, that's where you go up to do it. And that means you're up at basically the highest point that it's possible to walk on in the arena.
Yeah. A couple of times, Sexy Star being put through the railings on the catwalk, which was a little nerve-wracking. I was hiding in my shirt for a few...
Yeah, she got her face smashed on the railing at one point and started bleeding buckets.
She was a bloody fucking mess at this point. She eventually is able to get away from Mariposa and climb down. Mariposa kicks Marty Elias and tells him to get the fuck out of the way. They end up...
Then Marty the Moth shows up.
Yeah, because they end up back down on the top of the closet area. Yeah, Marty shows up, and he actually ends up, like, slamming her in, like, the gated area.
Yeah.
And then the Max had a fucking enough of this. He ends up grabbing Marty, tossing him into some other doorway up.
Yeah, he, like, pushes him through a wall.
It was a door. I feel like it was like a control room or something for lights or whatever.
It's fucking Leatherface's freezer.
Whatever the fuck it was. He tosses Marty in there, and so they kind of disappear for a while, and then we end up getting both ladies start to make their way back down through the crowd.
More fighting.
Sexy Star is picking up purses and beating the shit out of Mariposa with people's purses.
Just like anything she can grab on the way down. And then they end up using the garbage can.
Yeah. Sexy ends up trapping Mariposa in there and kicking it, and then Mariposa ends up using the trash can lid a couple of times.
They get back in the ring, and Marty shows up again.
Yeah. And...
He's like, you can't get rid of him. He's like a bug or something,
Like a moth?
Yeah, like a moth attracted to a lamp, and the lamp is a ring.
Well,
with sexy stars.
Well, stars are bright, so that's the way that's how that works. Marty ends up like wiping some of her blood onto his face and getting extra creepy with it. The Mac is fucking tired of this shit.
Yeah, I want to know what happened. Like, how did he escape the Mac? Because the Mac was thoroughly laying the smackdown on him.
Maybe Mac can't see very well in the dark, and
Marty's moth vision.
Marty's moth vision allowed him to navigate the dark backstage area of the temple.
I just imagine, like, off camera, like, the Mac, like, swung for a clothesline and missed, and Marty just started going like this and flew away.
Oh, there needs to be.
But then he landed before he got back on camera because he's like, if I did that in public, people would freak the fuck out.
Probably. So they make their way back into the ring.
That's gonna be his entrance at fucking Ultima Lucha this year. He's gonna moth fly into the ring.
I hope not.
He's gonna make you panic.
So Mac takes care of Marty once again.
With another motherfucking stunner.
And Mariposa gets...
Laying the Mac down.
There you go. Mariposa what was that move that Mariposa got Sexy Star in? She had like a leg lock.
Oh, it was a not quite perfectly locked in condo clutch.
Okay. Well,
it's like an inverted Texas Cloverleaf.
She gets her into this. And Sexy's in this move, and Marty Elias goes, "Do you want to give up, Sexy?" And Sexy says, fuck you, Mariposa, fuck you," real loud into the microphone, and the crowd loses their shit at this point. And fucking Vampiro is marching outside of the ring.
Yeah, he left the commentary about 8 different points during this match.
Yeah, he was...
Sometimes while they were on this, like, on the catwalk because he was getting nervous, and other times just because he was getting so goddamn amped. Take his headset off and just start, like, running and jumping around.
It was so good. Eventually, Sexy is able to get a flying armbar onto Mariposa, locking it in. Mariposa says, "No mas," and Sexy Star gets the naked Jason Statham Aztec medallion.
They were known as the sexiest tribe of the ancient Aztecs.
And then we get a little...
They also had, like, British accents.
We get a little love fest between Mac and Sexy. Sexy's a bloody mess, and she's all over the Mac. Mac's like, I'm cool with it. I think I'm cool with it.
Cool with it. Wish it wasn't so bloody.
But I do believe that means that Sexy has the final Aztec medallion.
Was there 6?
There's 7.
7.
So we have Sinestro,
Aerostar,
Aerostar, Cage, the Mac, Sexy Star,
Tejano.
Okay, so we do have one more.
Got one more.
Okay.
Uno
so,
mas.
Uno mas. We'll probably get that next week. Because let's see. I think we're closing in on Ultima Lucha here pretty soon. I think we're about. I think this was episode 14 or 15.
Not keeping track.
But regardless, yeah, we got an interesting group of people once again with those Aztec medallions. We got Eric Young showing up on NXT. We got people having some solid matches on main event. This was a fun midweek. That is it for the midweek wrap up. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Be sure to share the video with some friends. If you don't like it, share it with your enemies. We don't care. We just want you to share it with people. Thanks to all the people that have been commenting on the videos.
All you people are cool.
We appreciate it. Thanks for all the new subscribers, all the new likes on the Facebook. You can find that and all of our other links down in the description. If you're not a video person, you want to listen to us on the go, check out the SoundCloud. You can download the podcast and listen to us that way. But if you are interested in videos, you get extra ones if you look up in that playlist, because this week we have Thomas Wolfe's Springtime Top 10. This is just before and just after WrestleMania. We had 2 months that we didn't do the top 5, so you get a big old top 10 this week. And you get all of our regular reviews. We got a Payback review. We got a Raw review. This midweek wrap-up coming up next, the SmackDown Rundown, and some indie news coming up on Monday. So, thanks again for watching. Did you find it yet? No? Alright. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's going to happen next week?
Episode 100.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen on episode 100?
I'm at some point going to say, fuck Titus O'Neil.
Well, not only is Thomas Wolfe going to fuck himself, but Nakamura's going to fuck up Alex Riley.
Yeah. Happy episode 100.
Blue Thunder Punch.